Hello and welcome back to another crochet video. It's been a while since I've done this kind of videos, and as you can probably tell from the title, this is the tutorial video that you've been waiting for. I uploaded this video 2 years ago and some of you guys have been asking for a tutorial. I know I'm 2 years late and you guys probably have found another tutorial video and have made your own bolero cardigan, but it's fine. I saw a comment a few weeks ago that still asked for the tutorial, so I feel like a promise is a promise. I'm gonna keep it anyways, even though maybe not as much would need this tutorial because it's kind of outdated now. It's fine, it's fine. If any of you guys still wanted to make a cardigan, then this video is for you. But before we get into the tutorial itself, I kind of want to explain to you about the patterns and also the purpose of this video. For the patterns, I made it slightly different than the one that I posted on this video. There are a few things that I don't like from that first pattern that I changed a little bit, so it fits myself better personally. I can't really show you a comparison because I gave that cardigan to my friend, but I know most of you came from that video, so I'm still going to insert the original pattern in this video. I'm not going to be making that exact pattern, but I'm going to show you what I did differently throughout the video. But the point of this video is that I'm not just going to show you the step-by-step tutorial. You can follow through, but it's my pattern for my body, for my size. You might want to make the arms a little bit longer, or you want to make the back a little bit, I don't know. Like, I want you to be able to modify this cardigan to your own liking. So I'm going to be inserting a pink box along with the tutorial, and be sure to read that box because those are the main tips that I'm going to give you so that you can kind of adjust the size and the patterns to your own liking. I don't just want to make a tutorial for you. I really want anyone who is starting out to do crochet can follow through the patterns very easily and kind of adjust the patterns yourself. I'm going to try and explain with illustration and also trying on the cardigan halfway through so that you know where to stop, where to add more stitches, and etc, etc. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope you guys understand what I meant. I know this video is 2 years late, but I really hope that this video could still help some of you create your own cardigan that you love. Without further ado, let's get straight into the tutorial. These are all the materials that you will need for the cardigan. I'm using a dark gray milk cotton yarn, 5mm crochet hook, a needle, some scissors, and this stitch marker. Before getting into crocheting, I'll try to show you the big picture of the patterns. This is the old model, the one that I use in my old crochet vlogs, and it consists of 3 panels. The first and second one are the arms, and the third one is the back panel. This pattern has a square neckline, and I think it makes it more simple look, and this cuts off in your shoulders. The good thing about this pattern is that it's way easier to make and understand because the panels are very clear and separated. But the downside is that this thing slips off my shoulders a lot of times, which is why I don't end up wearing this bolero cardigan, and I gave it to my friend. Moving on to the new model, this one is the modified pattern that I'm going to be using for this tutorial. It only consists of 2 panels. This is the first panel and this is the second one, including the back. So the back part is going to be separated into 2 parts. The blue dots is where you're going to connect the 2 panels at the end. This pattern has sort of a triangle neckline. I don't really know what it's called, but it's going to look like this on me. But everyone has different preferences. Some of them may look better in a square neckline. That is why I gave you the first pattern as well. Although I think this will be a little bit more complicated to execute, especially if you're just starting out on crocheting, because the patterns in this part is a little bit hard to understand. But if you follow along the tutorial and look out for the pink boxes, I'm pretty sure you can do this very easily. So yeah. Now I'm going to begin with the actual tutorial, and don't worry, whichever model you pick, it's going to start the same. It's going to start from the cuffs, this one as well. So follow along the tutorial, and I'm going to come back with this illustration later on in the middle of the video. We're going to start by making the cuffs, and to do that, you're going to need a slip knot. So twist your yarn and make sure that the shorter end is on top, and then pull the longer end of the yarn and create a knot just like this. Insert your hook inside the knot, and this will be your starting point. You can pull the longer end of the yarn to make sure that the knot is tied to your hook, and then start making some chains. So here is the first tip for you. The chain determines the thickness of the cuffs. So if you want your cuffs to be thicker, then add more chains. but for mine, I don't want it to be too thick, so I'm only doing 8 chains. Okay, back to the video. So here is my 8 chain, and I'm going to flip this chain over, and as you can see in the back of the chains, there are these little knots. I don't really know what to call it, but basically I'm going to start doing it in the back so that I have a neat stitch. And we're going to skip the first knot. We're going directly to the second one, and then I'm going to make a single crochet. Here's how it's going to look. And then going to the next knot, and I'm going to make another single crochet. You're going to keep doing this until the end of the chain, and the number of stitches you end up with will be one less than the chain that you made. So for me, I made 8 chains, so I'm going to be left with 7 single crochets. Alright, I'm on to my last single crochet. And here is how it should look. Again, just to make sure, I'm going to show you and count. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm left with 7 single crochets, and now we're going to start making the ribbing. For the ribbing, I'm going to do a half double crochet stitch back loop only, and I'm going to start with chain 1 and flip this thing over. For this one, we're no longer going to skip the first chain. I'm going directly to the first one, taking only the back loop, and then making a half double crochet. There's one, and if you don't know how to make half double crochets, basically you're just going to put the yarn over your hook before you go inside the loop, and then take only the back loop and do a normal stitch. Like just yarn over and then pull through all 3 stitches that you have on your hook. Repeat the same step till you reach the end of the row. And again, we're not skipping any stitch, so you should have 7 half double crochets at the end. Once you made sure of that, make another chain and then flip this thing over and do the same thing over again. So we're going directly into the first half double crochet that you made, and then taking the back loop and making another half double crochet. You're just going to do this over and over again, keep flipping sides and taking only the back loop, doing half double crochets until you reach the length of your wrist. For mine, I did 18 rows, but this is the size of my wrist, so you can try and measure however loose or tight you want your cuffs to be, and just stop whenever you feel like it's enough. For this next part, we're going to be making the sleeves, and we're still working with the cuffs. We're just going to do it horizontally now. So we're going to start with chain 2, and then for this first row, we're still going to do half double crochets. You can modify the sleeves to make it puffier, but I'm going to show you how I did mine first. So after I chain 2, I'm going to do a half double crochet on the first loop that I can find. It might be a little bit hard to find the loop in this part because you're working in the side of the cuffs, but don't stress out on that too much. It won't be visible at the end, so if you make a little bit of mistake, it's going to be fine. Now I'm still going in the same loop I did before and make another half double crochet. This is called an increase stitch. So because I want my sleeves to be slimmer, I did an alternating pattern of an increase half double crochet and a normal half double crochet. As you can see, going on to the next one, I only did 1 half double crochet in this loop. And then when I move on to the third loop, I'm going to go back and do 2 half double crochets in that loop. But if you want your sleeves to be puffier, then you can do a full row of increase, which means you're going to insert 2 half double crochets in every loop. That way your sleeves will curve more and it's going to be a lot bigger. Right now I'm going to continue and alternate between the increase half double crochet and the normal half double crochet, and then I'm going to get back to you once I reach the end. Once you reach the end of the row, it's going to look a little bit curvy like this. Right now I have 29 stitch in total and I have to mark my middle stitch, so I'm going to count from the end to my 15th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here is my 15th stitch, my center one, and I'm going to mark it with my stitch marker. Okay, we just did the half double crochet increase row, and these are my patterns, but again, you can adjust it however puffy you want. So now we're going to move on to the double crochet middle increase. Okay, for the second row, I'm going to go back and do the chain 2. So you're going to do this every time you start a new row. Always chain 2 and turn your work around. Now instead of a half double crochet, we're going to make a double crochet for this row. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, pull the yarn, and we're not going to take 3 loops at a time. We're only going to take 2, and then yarn over and take the rest. I'm going to show you how to do it one more time. Yarn over, go to the next stitch, pull the yarn, and then take 2 loops at a time. Alright, that is how you do a double crochet. Now continue and repeat this process until you reach the middle stitch marker. Okay, now that I'm at the stitch marker, I'm going to take it off and work from the middle stitch. So I'm going to do yarn over and then put my hook inside the middle stitch and do a double crochet like normal. But for this stitch, you're going to do 3 double crochets. So this is 1, yarn over, go to the same loop and do another double crochet. Okay, second double crochet is done. Now I'm going to put my stitch marker back in this second stitch, and this will be your next middle stitch, like for the next row. And then one more time, yarn over, go to the same loop and do another double crochet. And this will end the increase for this row. Make sure that you have 3 double crochets in the middle stitch, and if you're done, you can continue till the end of the row. Do 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you're only increasing in that middle stitch. Okay, this is my last double crochet for the second row, and once you're done, it's going to look like this. For the third row, I'm going to do another chain 2 and then turn my work around, and it's actually the same like the second row. Like I'm still going to do double crochets till the middle stitch, but later on, once you've reached the middle stitch, you're going to do a normal double crochet, so no increase for this row. As you can see in the middle, I only took off the stitch marker, do a double crochet, and then put my stitch marker back on. Always remember to put your stitch marker back on because you always need the middle stitch for every row. So yeah, it is very important to remember that. Now you can continue doing 1 double crochet in every stitch until the end of the row. This is my last double crochet for this row, and your sleeves should look like this after you're done with your third row. Now that we are done with the third row, we're going to do the exact same thing over and over again. So what I explained to you earlier is the main pattern of the sleeves. It's a half double crochet middle increase, and a normal double crochet. This is just going to repeat over and over again until the end. Coming to the fourth row, I'm still going to do another half double crochet increase with this alternating patterns. So I'm going to do increase, half double crochet, and end the row with another increase. But it's not going to be 14 times because this one is the pattern for the first row. You're just going to have to adjust it to the number of stitches you have in the fourth row. But for those of you who chose a puffier sleeve and you did a full increase row on the first row, I don't recommend on doing that again on the fourth row because it's going to be a very big sleeve. So I would recommend you doing a normal half double crochet row for this one. But if you still want a bigger sleeve, then you could probably do this pattern. In case you choose to do a normal half double crochet row, I'm going to show you how to do it. So always start by chaining 2 and then turn your work around. And then I'm going to do a half double crochet on the first stitch, and then directly go to the next stitch and do another half double crochet. Yarn over, put your hook into the second stitch, and then pull through all 3 loops. Do this repeatedly until you reach the middle stitch marker. When you're at the middle, remove your stitch marker and do 1 half double crochet on the middle stitch. This process is basically exactly the same as the third row, but you're only going to replace a double crochet with a half double crochet stitch. Then don't forget to put your stitch marker back on and then repeat the process until the end of the row. I'm not going to show you that, I'm just going to go back to the illustration. Basically, we're going to repeat these 3 rows over and over again, and the only thing that you must do is an increase on the first row and the double crochet middle increase. So if you feel like you still need a bigger sleeve and you want to increase, do it in the next half double crochets. For me, I stop at the 4th row, and the next one I don't do any more increases except for the middle one. So again, it's all adjustable, you can do it however you want. This is just the main pattern to give you the guidelines for how to make the sleeves. Now let's move on to the pink box. This is a reminder that you need to make sure every time you're doing a new row. So make sure that you always have an odd number of stitches every time you increase, because you always need to have the middle stitch, like exactly in the middle. And then make sure that you always attach the stitch marker back in the middle stitch every time you're doing a new row. And to start a new row, you need to chain 2 and turn your work around. And then repeat this process until you have the length that you want. For mine, I did 42 rows because I am following the second model. This will be different according to the models that you follow. If you're doing the new model like I did, this pink line is where you need to stop crocheting, and this should end in your armpits. This is how it should look when you try it on. But if you're doing the old model, you have to keep going, and this part should be your shoulders. And this is how it's going to look if you try it on. So that is the first difference of these 2 models. The main patterns are the same, you just have to make it longer for this first model. If you're making the old model and you're done with both of these arm parts, all you need to do is make the back part. And this is very easy, you just need to do the same patterns over and over again. Make a square, make sure this is the size of your back, and then attach it together with the arms. The sewing technique is exactly the same like the new model, so you can skip directly to that part if you're making this one. I'm done making both of my sleeves, 42 rows for both my left and right arms, and we are now at this pink line. We're going to continue making this front collar panel and the back panel. So now we're going to focus on the right arms first. I'm going to show you how to make the right one, and later on the left one is just the mirror of this one. Okay, I'm going to open this back up, and as you can see, the stitch marker is right in the middle. It's kind of divided into a right part and a left part now. For this one, we're only going to decrease in the right part so that we can make this front panel thing. And for the left one, it's going to go straight up, just like this for the back panel. We're going to start by chaining 1 and making some slip stitches. I'm sorry I forgot to record the chain 1, but basically I did that. Go to the first stitch, do a slip stitch, and then go to the next stitch and make another slip stitch. Basically, we're going to make 3 slip stitches in each row so that it's going to decrease every time. And then for the next row, we're no longer going to go over these 3 stitches. Once you're done making 3 slip stitches, we're going to continue the row normally. So I'm going to chain 2, and I ended my last row with the half double crochet rows. Now I'm going to do the double crochet middle increase. This whole process is exactly the same like the previous rows, so just make double crochets in each stitch until the middle stitch, and then increase in the middle and continue making double crochets until the end. Alright, I'm finishing off this double crochet increase row. Now I'm going to chain 2 and then turn my work around just like usual. And now I'm going to do the normal double crochet rows. So going to the first stitch, do a double crochet, and then the next stitch, another double crochet. Basically this keeps on going, except in the middle stitch we're not going to increase. You're just going to do a normal double crochet, put the stitch marker back on, and I'll meet you once we have reached the end. We are almost at the end. This is my last double crochet for this row because I have to leave 3 stitches at the end for my decrease. As you can see, this is 3 stitches, not including the chains. Okay, now we're going to the next row. Chain 1, turn your work around, and we're going to decrease again for the next row. So going on to the first stitch, make a slip stitch, go to the next one and make another slip stitch. Final one, so 3 slip stitch every row. This is the 3rd slip stitch. Once you're done, this is how the decrease is going to look like. So every time you end the row with a decrease, you just leave 3 stitches, don't do anything, and go to the next row. But if you're starting your row with a decrease, then you have to slip stitch 3 stitches and then go to the main pattern. Now for this row, it is time to do the normal half double crochets. So again, I'm going to start with chain 2, yarn over, go to the next stitch, and do a normal half double crochet. Okay, I'm struggling a bit here, but it's fine. You're just going to do the exact same thing over until the end and then back again. Don't forget to do the decrease for every row. I know it looks rough, but trust the process. It's not going to look like this in the end. Okay, we are almost done. I'm in my final row of decrease. So I'm going to do half double crochets in this row until I reach the middle stitch marker. Luckily for me, I only have 3 stitches left after the stitch marker, so my rows are perfectly decreased by 3. But if you're making this in different sizes, then it's fine. You may have 4 or 5 stitches in the end. You just leave it like that. It's not going to be visible at the end. Okay, I just flipped it over and it's only going to decrease in the right side like this. Now I'm going to fold it back and go to the illustration to explain to you about the next part. I know this is mirrored, I did it on purpose. I don't want you to be confused with the left and right, so just listen to my explanation. I know you can't read the text. We are now done until this black line. And again, remember that this whole thing is the back part and this is the front part. So now all you need to do is add more rows for the back part and make sure that it reaches the middle part of your back. For mine, it only took me 4 rows, but it can be different for everyone, so you need to adjust. And this is how it should look when you try it on. For the back part of the cardigan, make sure that you measure it when it's stretched, because later on when you sew it together, it's going to be a little bit more loose. That is my mistake when I made the first cardigan. Now to make the actual back part, I'm going to open this back up, and we're no longer going to work with the right parts. Consider this done. We're no longer going to touch it. We're only going to do the left parts. So I ended my last decrease row with a half double crochet. Now I'm going to do a double crochet row, another double crochet row, and then a half double crochet and a double crochet. There will be no more increases. You're just going straight up. We're still going to start with chain 2 and flip your work around, yarn over, and make a double crochet right in the first stitch. Then go to the next stitch, make another double crochet, and no more increases, so you're just going to do this normally until the end of the row. Chain 2, flip it over, and do as long as you want. For mine, I only did 4 rows. This is how long I wanted it to be. And you're basically done with 1 sleeve. Now you're going to do the exact same thing for the left side. This is how it's going to look when you have both sides done. If you're still confused on how to make the left side, you can rewatch the previous part on the decrease for the right side and start from the second row. So for the left side, you're going to start with the main pattern first and then decrease, and then the rest is just the same. Now we're going to sew the pieces together, and before that, I recommend you to try it on first so that you know exactly how it's going to look on you. And to sew this together, I like to use the needle. You can actually use a crochet hook, but I don't really like it, so I'm going to show you how to use a needle instead. I have a leftover yarn hanging around here, so I'm just going to use that instead of taking a new yarn and just put it through the needle. Now, I would say there is no specific way to how to sew these things together. I just like to alternate between the right and left pattern because, as you can see, the right and left stitches are exactly the same. So all I need to do is take the right and left stitch together, put my needle through that, and it's just going to make a stitch. I'm going to show you one more time, taking the right and left loop together, pull your needle through, and make a stitch. That is basically the only thing you need to do, so just continue doing that and I'll meet you at the end. You can try and pull the yarn a few times to make sure that it is actually tight. And now I am onto my last stitch. Make sure that you really do it until the end, because if not, then it's going to look a little bit weird. Okay, now that it's done, I'm going to try and hide this excess yarn. And I like to go back to the same stitches that I made earlier. Just insert the needle through that and then pull my yarn. You can do this a few more times if you want, kind of go to the left or right or go back up, it doesn't really matter. And once you're done, you can cut off the yarn and it won't be visible. Now that you're done with this part, you can sew the arms as well in this part and try to hide all the excess yarns you have on your cardigan. Okay, our cardigan is officially done, and for these rough parts on the side, if you want it to be neat, you can go over it with single crochets or you can do slip stitch. but I'm going to leave mine like this because I think it gives it more character and I like how it looks on me. And I know the rough edges are a little bit different on the left and right, but again, that's okay. This is supposed to be a very chill hobby, so don't stress out on tiny mistakes. Maybe if you're selling it, it's going to be a different story, but if you're only making it for yourself, don't redo every time you make a little mistake because that's going to stress you out and you're not going to finish this project. Alright, that is the end of the tutorial video. I really hope that this tutorial helps you somehow, and I'm so sorry for the lateness. I'm going to try and make more crochet videos because I know most of my subscribers are from my crochet vlogs. If you guys have any suggestions on what I should make next, or maybe you want a tutorial video for something else, then please leave a comment for whatever that is. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!